Oh, we got to do it. We got to do it. We got to talk about it. We got to get this out there. I'm fired up. I am freaking gassed up to talk about this because it's got to be brought up. We're going to rip this thing off like a Band-Aid, okay? We're going to do it together. We're going to be constructive in how we do it, and we're going to really sit and think and talk about some of this stuff, okay? Because there's two conversations going on here that we got to figure out. We're going to talk accessories, and we're going to talk about their viability in 2025. It's your boy Chadsky. Guys, I do videos all the time. I do streams all the time. The channel we just started 3 months ago has blown up. 10,000 subscribers now. And if you want to join my Discord, the Discord link is in the description. This is where a lot of these conversations come from, is my Discord. That's what my Discord is for. It's a very positive Discord. We have fun in there. It's people who love the game, love everything about it. And those conversations in my Discord help me with my content because I'll bring things up that people don't think about. And this is something we got to bring up. So let's get into it, shall we? We're going to talk accessories of legendary equipment. All right. Accessories. There's two different types of accessories. So there's accessories that enhance a mechanic, like Horn, 50 Rage. Okay. That's a mechanic. Okay. Then there's attributes, an accessory that gives you a percentage of attributes. And when you do that, then you got to really look hard at what these accessories are because the conversation's been brought up. And here's why. I have, where is this? I think it's on my Eleanor. Yeah. I have got this infantry critted dagger. I don't even use this thing anymore. I didn't even put materials into it to awaken it past tier 1 awakening. Okay? And the reason why is because it costs way too much to dismantle this thing. Now that's an entirely separate conversation as far as the cost of dismantling accessories or any legendary material because you only get half of it back. Let me show you. Those of you who are new in the game, you're going to figure this out real quick. Okay, so that's why you got to be careful because you'll wreck your account if you do something wrong. All right. If I dismantle this, I'm getting 60 materials back. I mean, how crazy is that? 60 materials, that's all I get? To forge it, all right, I've got to do 120 materials. Are you kidding me? So with that being said, I'm sitting on this dagger, all right? I'm sitting on it, and I'm not dismantling it because it costs too much. All right, well, let's look at it. Has the game done anything to make this thing more valuable? Has the game done anything over time? Because let's talk about 5-year-old pieces of equipment. 5 years old. All right, we're talking accessories. So we're going to talk about these. Pendant, 5 years old. It gave us 5% more skill damage of all types. Well, if you get it critted, it's like 6.5. And that's great in 2020. In 2025, that doesn't mean anything. And let me explain. The damage factor is so freaking high, and the buffs coming from these command 30% skill damage. What is it, Nevsky? 60% skill damage? I mean, crazy amounts of skill damage that you get bonused and buffed. All right? Even Trajan is old. He gives 5 marches, 30% more skill damage. So what the hell is a pendant? Like, what is this going to do for us in 2025? It's not going to do anything. All right? I would argue that it's almost worthless. It is almost worthless. Well, they gave us the iconic system, and now we can awaken these things. Well, that doesn't, if I'm comparing the pendant to other accessories, all accessories have this. That's not what I'm comparing. I'm comparing the attributes. And then in 2025, my argument is that this is almost worthless now. It is devalued over time because we have power crept commanders. We have power crept all kinds of stuff when it comes to these commanders. Look at Ragnar. Okay, you're going to tell me Moore's Web? Ragnar, 40% defense here. Just have it. You get 40% defense. Okay. Here's Ragnar's Drain. 30% chance to take 20% defense from the enemy. Okay, that's great. Here's a skill damage reduction. You got skill damage bonus. Everybody's got bonuses. Everybody's got a ton of attributes. All right, so when we look at this, these types of accessories don't do much anymore. These are 5-year-old accessories. Listen, they had 5-year-old commanders. All right. So when we have 5-year-old commanders, hold on, let me go over here. Martell is like 5 years old, and he's so old, they had to give him a museum buff. They gave him 3 relics. That's how much they said he was absolutely, completely disregarded. Like nobody's ever going to invest in Martell. Oh, well, let's give him some attributes here. We had to bring that commander. So we've done this with all these commanders, but we didn't do it with accessories. Accessories, we're still sitting at a 2020, 5 years ago, 5% skill damage. What? Like they got to figure this out. Okay, let's look at the next one. Anything with an attribute, okay? That's what I'm going to talk about. You got 30% chance to reduce health. And if this is special talented, it's 6.5%, okay? So you're going to run that up to what? 18.5% health reduction? Well, who cares? Compared to 2020, back in 2020, y'all, we didn't have these guys. All right? Look how many stats this stuff gives. Look at it. Hardy, 3.5%. Put it on my 9.4%. I'm running my health up to 13.9, 14% of health. Consistently, perpetually. Look at my defense, 3.5%. I run my defense up to 15.7%. All right, so you've power crept the commanders and you've power crept with the armaments, but you haven't done anything to the accessories. The accessories are still the same. Okay, so the devaluation over the last 5 years has been consistent. All right, so pendant, almost worthless. Dagger, meh, whatever. Drop the health, okay. People will argue like, well, hey, it's great because you're debuffing the target, so all your marches get that benefit. That doesn't matter. It's not like magically we just started swarming stuff in 2025. We've always been able to swarm stuff. In 2020, this was potent, man. It was great. It was great for your marches. And you didn't have commanders that could combat this. You didn't have armaments in the garrison that could combat a health debuff. But now you do. So it's like, meh, whatever. All right, Seth's call, 10% attack. You guys really give a rip about 10% attack? We run attack so much anyways. Let me give you an example, okay? We run attack so much. We run it up so much. Let me see here. Where's my, let's see. Oh, this is on my other account. Okay, but we're still gonna show this to you. All right, troop buffs. Oh, my troop buffs are gone. But you run the attack up to like 250%. All right, so a Seth's call at 10% attack buff for you and your marches is like, meh. I don't really care about that. The game has not enhanced this at all over 5 years. It's the same broke accessory 5 years ago. There are no commanders we used from 5 years ago without an upgrade, okay? There's nothing we use in this game from 5 years ago that didn't have some kind of enhancement or upgrade. And these are the last thing that they got to figure out. Okay, let's go to Greatest Glory. Greatest Glory was dead on arrival. There was no way you were using a Greatest Glory in 2025 until Smite came around and saved it. Because for Greatest Glory, Smite is like all damage because you're ramping up the normal damage, okay? And he's a Smite commander, Luce, so this actually makes this viable. But it's still an attribute that nobody's going to put on anything other than a Smite commander. You know why? Because the attributes suck. That's why. All right, so these attributes of these accessories are just like, ugh. Moore's Web, you're gonna get 4%. Now, if you special talent this, it's like 5 or 5.5%. Defense reduction, and that stacks. Okay, 15% defense reduction if it stacks 3 times. Okay, 15% defense reduction in 2020 is awesome. In 2025, this dude just throws out 40% defense like it's nothing. Like it doesn't mean anything. That's what I'm trying to say. So my point is, we have to think about this, and we have to start bringing up that question. We got to bring it up in the Rock Discord, and we got to bring it up in all the different public Discords that we're in. Okay, coin, guys. This damage factor of 500 has been the same on a coin for 5 freaking years. Great, thanks for the 500 damage factor on my coin. I wonder what a commander's doing. 2,700 damage factor. Oh my gosh. Like, what are commanders doing today? 2,800 damage factor. When the coin came out, you had damage factor like this, okay? 1700 damage factor. So the coin is really pretty good when people are running around with Saladins. When people are running around with Khans, the coin's pretty good. 1700 damage factor. No problem. This is great. Coin is valuable. You increase the damage factor by like 40% over time? Then why aren't you increasing the coin by 40%? Because this stuff here is just garbage. Like, it doesn't do anything. I've got it on my Trajan because I've got it credit for leadership. But even with a special talent, 650 damage factor, this is the same it was 5 years ago. And you got commanders hitting twice as hard. So let's look at this and figure this thing out, because these values of these accessories has diminished massively. Not just a little bit, but massively. Vengeance, 8% counterattack. Awesome, great. You're going to do that. Like, people who run garrisons and rallies that are going to get swarmed, this used to be amazing. It was great. Even 3 and 4 years ago, it was great. Now, they're throwing out freaking garrison commanders now. Where's my boy? They're throwing out garrison commanders that are just like, counterattack is just like, okay, 40% counterattack. Like, what's a book gonna do when you're throwing out counterattack like this? They're throwing out commanders like Gorgo. Where's she at? Gorgo ramps up the normal damage because she's a smite commander. Normal damage for the next 3 seconds. You take counterattack damage reduction. You do 30% normal damage. When you launch a basic attack, you get a 10% chance at 30% normal damage. That's to help her counter. That's to help her smite, but it's also counterattack. So an 8% vengeance doesn't mean jack, y'all. I mean, And this is what I'm saying. Like, I can't just say that on its face. Like, an 8% counterattack of a vengeance doesn't mean anything. I have to put it in context. Compared to 2020, if you run this today compared to 2020, it means like nothing. It has like half its value. Because the counterattack damage, the normal attack damage has ramped up on so many commanders that this literally has massive diminishing returns. Okay, so let's look at this overall, because this is what I actually wanted to put up. Let's categorize this if we would. So this is an 2025 accessory viability. Okay, and over here in the diminished value over time, these are accessories with attributes. So let's start. Dagger. Okay, health mitigation, health debuffing. All right. That kind of stuff is just like whatever. It doesn't really work all that much. All right. Web, defense mitigation, defense debuffing. Doesn't work all that much. It's not ideal. Let me turn off my notifications on my Discord here so I don't have to start this stupid video over. But let's talk about this. Web, it's got diminished value over time. Since 2020, web is not near as important. Coin, 500 shield factor from 5 years ago. We're going to try to put that on today and make it viable? Hell no. Are you kidding me? Cess Call, you're going to give me 10% attack on my march and 2 other marches? Well, 5 years ago, that's pretty good. Today, gross. Like, I'd rather put something else there. Vengeance. We talked about Vengeance. 8% counterattack damage. I guess. Like, that's okay today. You can still do some cool counterattack stuff. But it doesn't work as near as well. Pendant, 5% skill damage. Okay. 5 years ago, that would have been fine. Today, that doesn't mean hardly anything. All right. And so when you look at this overall, and I'll get into even more of this, that's really going to kind of blow people's minds, but let's go ahead and pull this back off. All right. Let me hit my little deals here, pull these things off, and let's talk about the other side of this thing on these armaments. These armaments are so cracked and busted, like we have talked about. Like, it's unbelievable. We talked about this. 14.5% health with this. Almost 14.5%. Well clad. This gives me like 15.7% defense. So not just with the commanders. We're talking about the armaments. The armaments have given the attributes. All right. Let's just go over here. Like, you've got some situations to where some of these, we'll go into the codex here for Wedge. In Wedge, look at this. Focus Fire. It's a rare. This is a 4% boost to skill damage dealt. A boost is much more powerful than a bonus. This is literally valued more than a critted pendant. And this is just a rare inscription sitting on one slot of armaments. Like, just to get people to understand that these accessories are garbage because they've never done anything. They got to figure something out with these accessories. They have to. 5% more skill damage of all types. Well, Focus Fire, a rare inscription on the wedge armaments, gives 4% boost to skill damage. That's much more important than this. So what I'm trying to say is the power creep has happened so much, and now different aspects of this have basically created a situation to where a lot of these things just are not viable. You do not even want to invest in these. And it makes it even worse because you can't get the value out of it. Now, the one that has been saved, Greatest Glory, because you could put Greatest Glory over here, but it was sitting right here. But I'm going to put it kind of right here in the middle or kind of maybe down here in the corner. And the reason why is because smite damage and combo damage commanders get their smite and combo damage enhanced by normal damage, and that's what this has. If we didn't have smite damage in normal or in combo damage commanders in this game, this would be sitting right over here. Just worthless. 5% more normal damage. Okay. Like Gorgo's giving us 30% on our procs. Attila's giving us 30% on his active skill. Like that just doesn't matter much. But I'll put it right here. All right. And then the three that have actually helped over time, we're going to go horn, drums, and ring. Okay. They have held their value over time. They've held their value because they increase these two right here. All right. The horn and the drums. All right. Let's look at this. These two right over here have increased their have sustained their value over time. And it's because they are a mechanic situation. And when I say that, it's a mechanic situation, it enhances a mechanic. It enhances rage. All right. And so when you look at this overall, your horn is increasing rage. All right. Well, the rage generation on these commanders hasn't just gone through the roof. It's not like they power crept rage. And so with that, the horn is still so viable, y'all. So viable. Because you can actually increase the, let me see, where's my horn here? You can actually increase the rage that you get. You can special talent it and get more. So they haven't done anything with the mechanic of rage. It's not like commanders are coming out saying, hey, we're going to give you, this commander's got a skill to where it gives you an extra 100 rage every second for 2 seconds. Okay. Instead, there's rage mitigation, which only makes this more and more important to enhance the rage that you get. So horn enhances a mechanic. And when it enhances a mechanic, that helps all your other attributes. That helps your skill damage. That helps everything else because this just helps you fire off active skills. Okay. Drums. This does not enhance an attribute. This enhances a mechanic of rage. So this has grown in value. Drums are more valuable today than they were in 2020 compared to these other things that gave attributes. Okay? These other things that gave attributes, drums has hammered the value because it's giving an enhancement to the mechanic of rage. And then ring, okay? A lot of people will say, well, ring is an attribute. A ring is all damage. Here's the part with the ring that it blankets it. Ring is like a blanket insurance coverage, or like an umbrella insurance coverage. Ring is enhancing all your damage. Okay, so it gives you a bonus to all damage dealt for 2 seconds. That's what ring does. All right, so no matter what your damage factor is, ring is a back-end enhancer. Okay, you could fire off your Huo at 2,700 damage factor. You could fire off your Arthur at 2,800 damage factor. You could fire off your Zugay to 5 targets at 2,000 damage factor. The ring just enhances all of it. And that's why the ring is still so important and viable today. Especially compared to some of these old broken accessories that, when I say broken, I mean like broke. Like they're not good. Not broken a bad way. All right? Because when you're enhancing attributes, when you're mitigating attributes, You're enhancing your attributes here. You're given a shield factor. This stuff is 5-year-old stuff. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. So the accessories that bring you ring, drums, horn, the accessories that bring you enhancements of game mechanics, and with ring, you're doing overall damage with all the other stuff that is combined. Those are good. Those have increased in value. Dagger, web, coin, cess, call, vengeance, pendant. These things they have not enhanced anything. We power crept commanders. We power crept armaments. We power crept all kinds of stuff in this game. Except here's your accessories. Here's your 6 accessories that we haven't done anything with, that bring less and less value that they did 5 years ago when they were in the game. Greatest glory, we'll put right here. We have to. Okay, we can put over here, but I'm going to put it right here because they did do something with the greatest glory to enhance the smite damage and the combo damage. So this is the stuff we got to think about. This is the discussion we have to have, because I'm not saying you can't run some of these. You can't run Cess Call. You can't run Vengeance. You can't run Pendant. You can't run Web. You can't run Dagger. In fact, with Dagger and Web, they're even better today as far as their frequency because of combo commanders. However, the actual attribute is garbage. It's the same attribute it was in 2020. At what level with armaments, with commanders, with anything, are we excited about the same attributes as we were in 2020? All right, coin, same thing. 500 damage factor when the coin fires off. In 2020, that was great. Back when Saladin hit you and Khan hit you, but now Arthur's hitting you. Okay, so the coin has drastically decreased in value. Drastically. All right, so I'm not saying you can't run this stuff. I'm just saying the value compared to where they were in 2020 has diminished over time. That's my point. And the value of your horn, the value of your drums, the value of your ring have kept their value, and in some cases enhanced their value. The value of greatest glory was saved by smite and saved by combo. So with that being said, we'll end this video. Let's get the conversation going. Give me your comments down in the comment section of this video. Join my Discord. Help us out here, because this is the kind of stuff we love to do. We love to break this down and really kind of think holistically. We like to think detailed, finite with the math of stuff. That's what we do. And with that being said, we'll see you later, broskies.